Okay, Firebase folks, it's day 4, and we're going to take what we did in day 1, 2, and 3, where we got our Firestore REST storage and turned it into a nice canonical REST API, added API key authentication. Then we added a beautiful developer portal that's going to remind ourselves what that looked like, that told people how they can use our API. I think we can make some real money with this to-do API, I really do. So let's go and monetize it now. And to do that, we're actually going to use Zuplo monetization. So I'm going to follow our guide here live. I'm going to really just do this. I'll probably have to debug a few things. It'll be a very real experience. It'll show you the end to end of going from sort of what we built over the last few days and actually adding monetization using our friends at Stripe. So yeah, we're going to do that, and hopefully we'll be done fairly smoothly without any hiccups, and we'll be off to the races. So let's get started. So first of all, let's go to our quick start here. And you'll see it tells us to set up the developer portal. So we've got to set up in Stripe. So you need a few things set up in Stripe before we can enable Zuplo monetization. And we're going to create some Stripe products. So what are the products that we want to have? So we come in here, we come to product catalog, and I've just created a Firebase to-dos account. I'm in test mode, fine for now. And we're going to add our first product, and we're actually going to have a free product. So let's let people have some fun for free. And for this, our awesome free to-do API includes 100 requests. So you can make 100 requests on the API in total, and up to 10 to-do creates. Actually, I'm going to be a bit stingier than that because I just want to be able to test that I run out. So yeah, we'll just do 3. It's a little bit easier. It's going to be $0 per month. And yeah, that is our free product. And then you can add more, but I'm just going to do 2 for now. Then we're going to have a pro tier, and that is our amazing to-do API now with more. So what should we give away for this? Let's do up to 1,000 to-do creates and 1 million requests. So that's a lot. So you can check your to-dos a lot. And we are going to charge $100 a month for this. I think that's a bargain, and it's a recurring payment. So we're kind of off. So let's pop back to our documentation, see what it says. So we've created some options. Then we need to create a pricing table. So that's pretty easy. I just come into here, click pricing tables. We're going to create a pricing table. I think I've got to find my product. We'll start with free. Then we're going to do another product, which is pro. Of course, we're going to go with Zuplo Pink. Actually, that won't show up in the current design, but I like the way that looks right now. So let's save that, continue. I don't need anything else from here. Yep, okay, we are pretty good. So we're making good progress through this. So now we've got to set up in the Zuplo portal. In order for Zuplo API to connect to Stripe, you need to set up your Stripe API key as an environment variable. So we looked at environment variables on day 1. That was how we called Firestore securely. And I need to create a Stripe secret key. So let's go over and do that. So settings, environment variables, add variable, Stripe secret key. And it's a secret. And I'm going to go to Stripe and get that now. And that's on the developers tab, API keys. I'm going to show you this now. Please don't abuse it. Let's copy that. Go back over here, paste that in, and we are making excellent progress. So we have set up our Stripe secret key, and then we've got to configure the developer portal. So go to the code tab in Zuplo and go to devportal.json and enable monetization settings. So let's go and turn that on. Enable monetization. The provider is Stripe. It's the only one we support right now. The pricing table ID I get from Stripe. So let's go to products, pricing tables. And if we look at this, if we click on this, we'll see the pricing table ID is kind of sort of hidden a little away in this code, but it's pretty accessible. And pop back to Zuplo. We're going to paste that in. Then we need the publishable key. So I'm going to go back to developers, API keys. I'm going to get that publishable key. That is not a secret. So we can just actually, I think we can just embed that right here. and then secret key. So actually I want to use my environment variable for that. So I want to use the Stripe secret key. I'm going to save my changes and hopefully all is good there. So let's see, finally click, yep, just select secret key. Then preview our developer portal. Let's see what we see. We're not ready to actually start billing anybody yet, but let's go and have a look. Okay, look at that. We have pricing now. Ooh, free and pro, and it includes the information. We are ready to roll. Look at that. We're almost ready to roll. We've got a couple of other steps to go, but pretty straightforward so far. So we're done with step 1, I think. So let's go to step 2. In step 2, we got to configure our plans. So this is a feature of Zuplo where we kind of manage the quotas for you. So what I'm going to do is come over here, go to services, and you'll find you have this thing called a metering service. That's what we use for billing. So we're going to create a plan. The first one is going to be called free, and it maps to the free plan in Stripe. So I go over to Stripe, I go to products, I find my free plan here, and you'll see there is my product ID. So I'm going to copy that and pop that into Zuplo right here. And then the meters, so requests, I think I gave them 100 in the free plan. Let's go and check that. 100 requests and 3 to-do creates. Pretty stingy on the creates. So I'm going to create to-do. Actually, this should be written in nice English. And then we automatically create a sort of a meter that looks like JSON. And we're just going to do 3 there. Not going to worry about enabling trial for now. Let's create that plan. Let's create another plan, which is going to be called Pro. Again, back to Stripe. Find the Pro plan. Copy that link. Paste that in there. And then requests, I think I said 1 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then for to-do creates, I said 1,000. So generous. 1,000 to-do creates. Let's create that plan. So I've got my 2 plans now in Zuplo. So I've configured them. That's looking good. Next, I need to set up the Zuplo plugin. So for that, I need this code here, which is going to be, it's pretty straightforward actually. I just drop that into a new file in code here called Zuplo runtime extensions. So just add a runtime extension and I can replace all of that code with this code. It's going to read from the environment variables. It's going to read a thing called the Stripe secret key, which we just created a few minutes ago. And it's going to use the Stripe webhook signing secret. So for that, we're going to need to create an environment variable. So let's go back to the docs and it'll talk us through it. So set up the Stripe webhook. So navigate to the webhook section in Stripe. So developers, webhooks. And then it says create, add this, the URL of your thing, underscore plugin Stripe webhook. So let's just go and get this now. So if we go to Zuplo, we go to settings, go to general, you'll see here is the URL of my, we're just using the developer instance for now, not the production instance. And that's going to be the base of my webhook. So we're going to add a new webhook, add an endpoint. And it was /_plugins. Let's go take a look at that. Actually, let's just copy it. No point making a mistake typing this out, is there? Stripe webhooks. My Zuplo webhook. And then we need to select some events. And it tells me here what those events are. So it's subscription, customer subscription, created, updated, and deleted. So let's search for that. Customer.subscription, created, deleted, and updated was the other one. Okay. There we go. So we should have 3 events now. Yeah, let's add those events. And I think that is us done. I think we're then done with that and we just add the endpoint. So let's add the endpoint. Boom, that is ready. I need my secret. There it is. I'm gonna copy that. And I assume the docs tell me now to go and get that secret. They do. And to put it into Stripe webhook signing secret environment variable. So let's go and create that. Stripe secret. What was it? Stripe webhook signing secret. Notice you can call it whatever you like. It's a secret, so we'll click that. It just has to map to what was in that runtime extension file, which was Stripe webhook signing secret. So if you're going to use the template, then you're going to have to make sure they match. Purchase a subscription. Is that real? Can we really test this? Should we try? So let's make sure everything is saved. Okay, let's make sure everything is saved. And let's verify our progress. So I'm going to go to getting started. I'm going to go to our developer docs. Actually close that old version down. Here is my beautiful API. I am signed in. Actually, I've got this old key here that was before we were using monetization. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and delete that. I don't want that to be hanging around now. So I go back to settings, API key consumers, and we'll just delete that key. Boom, it's gone. Okay. So now Josh at Zuplo has no keys. If I refresh this. Your account does not manage any credentials for this API. But we'll fix that pretty soon because we're going to go to pricing and we're going to sign up for the free tier in this case. Now, because we're not enabling trial here, I have to actually enter some credit information. You can decide whether that's what you want to do, but it's not going to charge you because it's free. So we're using test mode in Stripe, which means you just enter 4242, 4242, 4242. You enter a month and year, so 0327. And then, do you think this is the meaning of life? Do you think this is a Hitchhiker's Guide thing? I assume so. And Josh Twist is the cardholder name. I live in the United States in Redmond, and I don't want to do any of that stuff. So I'm now going to go and subscribe. And if I set everything up right, there's quite a few steps to follow, right? Then that should be good. And it will link me back. And then in a second here, this will load up my subscription if I set up my webhook correctly. Can take a second. But you can also, it's also the sort of thing you can mess up. So let's just go and check actually here and make sure. View logs. Post 200, okay. Okay, so let's go and see if we can debug what's going on here. So our webhooks, there's our webhook. And I can see, oh, it looks like an error. Okay, so it looks like the create failed. And it got a 404. So that means when calling Zuplo, it got a 404 status. So let's go and check our project. Oh, and there's the problem. Somehow I messed up there and I didn't save the runtime extension. So let's go and find that code. Oops. And so the Zuplo didn't register the endpoint for the webhook. So if you have an issue, make sure you've saved your change. I think that should work now. And let's go back here. And I think we can say resend this. So let's do resend. Let's refresh the logs here. And we get a created. Yay! So now if I go back here and click retry. Oh, yeah, there we go. Cool. Yeah, there's our subscription. So we are back in the money. We are back in the races. So you can see my API key. You can see my API reference here. I can test my API. I can call it. Everything's going to work. There is a couple of extra steps though. We have to tell Zuplo which requests count against the quotas. As you can see, I've not used any of my quotas right now. Let me just refresh this. I see my subscription here. I've not used any of my quotas right now. I've done 0 out of 100 and 0 out of 3 to-do creates that I get on my free plan. And let me pop back here. And let's go and set this up. So it actually has this in phase 3. I think we've done everything in this stage now. So if we go to step 3. Step 3, add API key authentication. We've already done that. So we're good. We've got that step done. Add the monetization policy. So we come in here. We're going to add the monetization policy. And we're going to meter. Let's have a look. We're going to meter requests here. And this is on, which one was this on? This is on the get all to do. So we're just going to meter requests on that. So monetization, we're literally just going to meter requests. Okay. That can sit at the end. I think that probably makes the most sense. On create to do, we're going to do a slightly different thing with monetization because we're also going to do to-do creates here. And we're going to increment by 1 for each successful to-do create. Now you can actually programmatically increase by 3 or 4 or something based on the response, but for what we're doing, that's fine. And then actually let's rename those policies. So monetize creates, and this one monetize just requests, because I'm going to reuse the policies. So this creates a policy in the library here. So you see we've got monetize request and monetize create. Monetize request, we're going to apply that to update and delete too. But we're going to do it differently for create to do. Okay, so let's save our changes so we don't lose anything. And pop back over here. And then it says test the API. So let's go test it out if that's deployed. So let's see, we go to API reference. Let's start by getting some to-dos. It's plugged in our key. Oh, I've erroneously applied request validation on that one. I don't need that on to-dos here. Okay, let's save that. Pop back over here. Try again. Okay. I'm getting no results because I've not created any to-dos with this new user. It's just created me a new API key. But let's see, I'm getting no results, so I'm firing off my request. If we pop and look at our subscription, boom, I've used 4 out of my 100 requests. Pretty cool, huh? That's quite exciting. And let's go and create some to-dos now. API reference, create to-dos. One, done another one. Let's change this message to go to the shops. And then maybe go to the dry cleaners. I actually have to do that. And then maybe go to the swimming pool. And there we go. So we got those. So let's go now and take a look at our subscription. And oh, look at that. We're actually over our subscription here. So let's go and actually, let's see if we can create another API reference here actually. That's a get. Oh, actually, let's test the get. Cool. So there you can see that all of the things that we created. And let's go and create a to-do. And quota exceeded is the message I get back. So we've kind of gone over our quota, so we're actually getting denied the creation of another to-do item here. And just to show you like delete works. So if I go and get to-dos, let's get one, let's copy that. And get doesn't have a body either. Delete doesn't have a body either, so I don't need that request validation inbound on there either. Let's save that. And let's go and delete the to-do. So test, I'm gonna put the to-do ID in here. Okay, looks good. Let's go and do get and see if we got rid of one. Looks good. Let's have a look at our subscription. Look at all those requests we're using, but we're stuck on to-do creates because we've overused them. That, ladies and gents, is how easy it is to add monetization to your API powered by anything, in this case, Firebase, using Zuplo. When are you going to get started?